Welcome to Don't Watch Qatar 2022, a series of articles and podcast episodes about the dilemma many football fans are facing right now, to watch or not to watch the upcoming World Cup. My name is Enzio Bakker, I'm a Dutch football fan and I decided a couple of years ago that I'm not going to watch this year's World Cup. During this project I'll explain why by answering 8 questions every football fan should ask themselves. Today we'll focus on question number 7. If I choose not to watch, what difference does that make? Finally, I thought I'd found the answer. We should collectively boycott the World Cup. It can be that simple. But as soon as I talked about it with my football-mad friends and family, they showed little enthusiasm. Not necessarily because they don't care about what's happening in Qatar or because they really can't live without a World Cup. No, most of them said, what's the point? There will never be enough people who won't watch to really make a difference. And the facts support this feeling. Petitions, like the one started by Dutch comedian Freek de Jonge, or initiatives like Cancel Qatar 2022, barely get any support. Most football viewers are interested to a certain extent, but collectively organizing a boycott is too much effort. I started wondering if it would make any difference if I, as an individual, would or wouldn't watch. The World Cup is happening, billions will watch, billions will be made by FIFA, Qatar's public image gets boosted, and in faraway places in Africa and Southeast Asia, anonymous mothers are mourning their anonymous sons. Does it make a difference if I don't watch? You don't even need to ask, the answer is clear, no, it won't. But instead, a different question kept bothering me. Do I want to, in any way, shape or form, contribute to this World Cup? If I tune in this winter, FIFA becomes a little richer and Qatar gets a little more attention. The media companies that paid handsome sums to get TV rights raise their profits a little because of me. If I watch highlights, read articles, like posts on Instagram, collect panini stickers or place bets on matches, the companies circling this World Cup feast on the crumbs. It's like buying coffee made by slaves or buying clothes made by children. If you stop doing it, these makers of coffee or clothes don't get higher wages or improved working conditions. But at least you're doing something. At least you're not part of the problem. Like many people who drink coffee or wear clothes, most football fans don't think about ethical matters all that much. They are the fans you see on TV. Whether they're in a stadium or in an advertisement for non-alcoholic beer, they're always cheering happily, totally invested in the game. They're the idealized consumers for FIFA and their business partners. On the edge of their seat or glued to the screen, they have one purpose: sucking in as much football through their eyeballs straight into their brains. The matches are only the tip of the iceberg. They take in analyses, interviews and press conferences. They buy the newest kits and other merch, read players and managers' biographies. They admire their football heroes' perfect seeming lives on social media, laugh at funny memes or watch inspiring videos about players and managers. And to create the illusion of being more than just passive spectators, they compete in FIFA Ultimate Team, match predictions, fantasy football or betting. All those things just being even more products to consume. A growing number of analysts observe how football and sports in general becomes an essential part and prime example of a world that's more and more geared towards spectacle. Our society is so fixated on consumption that even having things you can buy is no longer sufficient. We're now one step further where we're producing and consuming images and personas. A fine example is Neymar. The 222 million euros Paris Saint-Germain paid for the Brazilian star in 2017 is not a reflection of reality on the pitch. He's not 10 times better than Kingsley Coman, who joined Bayern Munich for 21 million in the same year. No, Neymar is worth 222 million because of his image as one of the most recognizable, marketable players of all time. He's more than a football player. He's a brand, a company with a giant audience on social media, countless sponsorship deals, endless possibilities for merchandise and several biographies. This image has been carefully crafted and managed by Neymar himself and the people around him. He earns his money not just because of his qualities on the pitch, but also, and perhaps mostly, because of this image. His employer PSG, for its part, also has an image to maintain, so it pays Neymar almost 400k a month if he's well behaved in interviews and kindly applauds the Parisian fans. Furthermore, the club creates an image of being one of the best in the world by bringing in players like Neymar, Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi, while in reality PSG rarely competes for European silverware. But clubs are no longer just clubs. They're brands competing with one another for attention from their potential customers. Similarly, national leagues are also in competition with one another, promoting their brands as more exciting than ever. The World Cup is even more spectacular than the Euros and vice versa. Infantino's ideal extended club World Cup would be even more sensational than the Champions League. Sports media, making loads of money, stoke the flames even higher with their clickbait. It doesn't matter how exciting the football actually is, what matters is how exciting it appears. And some people no longer get this excitement from matches or competitions, but by correctly predicting them through various forms of gambling, from fantasy football to online betting. The spectacle of football keeps expanding, even up to a point where the football itself becomes less important as the show surrounding it takes center stage. Other examples include media circuses during the transfer window or at squad selections of national teams. There's a growing fascination for football stars' private lives or for analyses about analyses. You'll hear people saying things like, "I thought Gary Neville's opinion was better than Micah Richards' opinion." Secondary concerns become primary concerns. If football itself is the core, it's now surrounded by layer on top of layer of related show business. And the fact of image building becoming more and more important than reality in football is not lost on the Qataris. First, they're paying migrant workers to attend matches of the Qatari international team to create the image of their team having loyal fans. But second, they're doing something far more important. They know they don't have to actually change the migrant worker situation as long as it seems as if they do. Abdullah Ibais, part of their own PR team, wanted to first change the situation in workers' camps and then show the world this new reality. He's now behind bars. Because reality no longer matters. Only the presented images count for the football audience. And this audience, meanwhile, consists mostly of almost hypnotized spectators. That's us, with our season tickets and pay-per-view. Some fans are so hypnotized they never even think of the possibility of not watching the Qatar World Cup. And even when they do, they might not even be able to live without football anymore. They watch, consume and are entertained. Nothing should distract them from it. No difficult questions about wrongdoings or injustice. Let me just enjoy the game. The show is more important to them than the horrible practices which made the show possible. Other fans who can live without football might feel like they can't do anything to influence the direction in which their beloved sport is headed. We feel like all we can do is watch and, if there's no other option, just enjoy the show. Resistance is futile, the spectacle marches on without us. So no, there will never be enough people who join the boycott to really hurt the Qataris. Not watching the World Cup won't make a difference. But does it necessarily have to make a difference? Or can we just do something or not do something because we know it's right, without focusing on the results? Precisely this obsession with results, profits, numbers at the expense of all else has led us here. Football has become all about results, financially or on the pitch, and the ends justify the means. Qatar proves how we ignore human suffering in favor of success and profits, in favor of results. If we want to push back against that, I'm afraid this idea of "but will it make a difference" is falling into the exact same trap as the incessant focus on results. The idea of it not making a difference when you don't watch the Qatar World Cup fits perfectly into the results-oriented rationale which now controls football. When we don't get anything out of it, we don't do it. Morality, is this right or wrong, is then cast aside entirely. This is the logical endpoint of a rationale in which only quantifiable results matter and in which everything should have utility. In which professional fouls, time wasting and theatre on the pitch are all accepted as long as you do it to get results. In which winning is all important, to earn more money to invest so you can win even more. On a larger scale, FIFA also wants to make more money to invest in growing football further, tapping into new markets in order to make more money to invest in even more growth and to attract even more viewers. Human lives, suffering and morality no longer matter in this logic of performance and growth. When doing something doesn't make a difference, this fact can only stop you from doing it if you buy into the logic of performance and results. Maybe it's time to ditch this way of thinking and start thinking about whether it's morally right to watch this World Cup. Maybe it's time to stop asking what we can do to stop these unethical practices and to start asking if we want to contribute to them. Personally, my answer is no. I love enjoying a beautiful show of football, but not at all costs. There's more to criticize about modern football than just the Qatar World Cup, but for me, this tournament has crossed the line. I can't live with the fact that thousands of people were sent to their deaths, tens of thousands were made slaves, and tens of thousands more had to mourn their loved ones, all for my entertainment. I don't want to be a passive spectator of such entertainment, but an active boycotter. That's why this winter I won't be glued to the screen like the football fanatics in those non-alcoholic beer commercials. Every fan will have to make his or her own decision in this matter, as long as this decision is made consciously and based on the right information. Still, in the next chapter, I want to discuss one more factor I haven't talked about before. One final question which has less to do with the horrors in Qatar, the malpractices of FIFA, or the responsibility of us football fans, but which is nonetheless important to many people. When my country competes in the World Cup, I have to see it, right? To read more about these issues and to check the sources I use to piece all this together, visit our website don'twatchqatar2022.com. If you want to support us financially, please don't. We don't want to profit off this tournament. Instead, please donate to one of the organizations listed on our website. Also, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and TikTok. We'll keep you posted on the next episodes. Thanks for listening. This was Enzio Bakker from the Netherlands. I hope you join us again next time.